I'm calling the church is now in session. We have this session of the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan. And we're going to have Judge Bell give the introductions. Judge?
Good morning, everyone, on this historic day. First and foremost, our gratitude to our federal judge, Sean Cox, for being here. When I initially asked him, he told me about how his parents were immigrants and how he was delighted and honored, having been to our church in the past, to participate in this historic moment. Also joining us from the judiciary, I'm Judge Gregory, 3rd Circuit Court, my colleague Cholack, 3rd Circuit Court, and Honorable James Plakas, 35th District Court.
Right now, Doug Pierce is going to introduce himself and tell you a little bit about the process, how one becomes a citizen of the United States.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Please be seated. My name is Doug Pierce. I'm a supervisor with the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. And one of the things that's the best thing about my job is I get to help people take the final step in their immigrant journey to become United States citizens. Today we have two individuals, Father Teodor and Roxana, who are going to take their oath of allegiance here in this holy place before a federal judge, before you, and before the Lord, to become naturalized citizens of the United States. And on behalf of the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services and my district director, Plymouth, I'd like to offer congratulations to these two fine individuals who are about to become U.S. citizens. Just as a little bit of information, the journey they have taken is one that can be long and it can be difficult at times. They have to leave their country of origin and come to the United States as immigrants, and they have to live as permanent residents at least for 5 years before they can take the oath of allegiance. But before they can take the oath, they have to show that they can read, write, and speak English. They have to show that they are people of good moral character, and that they have spent enough time here in the United States to be eligible for naturalization. On Thursday, Father Teodor and Roxana appeared at our office, had their interview, and passed all the requisite tests. And they showed that they are eligible for naturalization. So it is our honor today to participate in this ceremony so that they can take this final step before you all and become citizens of this great country. So congratulations to you.
Judge Bell mentioned that my parents were immigrants, and my parents are immigrants. They're Irish immigrants. And my father left home in 1948. He left Ireland. He couldn't get a job because of his faith. He was Catholic. My grandfather had a hard time getting a job because he was Catholic. My father immigrated to first Canada in 1948. And then in 1950, he was able to get into the United States. It was a bit of a struggle. He was able to find a distant relative in the United States who would sponsor him here. So he had to fight to get into our country. My dad was here 6 months. And in 1950, as we recall in your history, the Korean War started. And my dad was drafted into the United States Army after only being in the country for 6 months. And surprisingly enough, he did go into the Army, and for the next year and a half, fought on the front lines of the Korean War, and then he ended up getting out of the Korean War as a sergeant, coming back to the United States, and getting a job as a carpenter, and he worked at different construction sites around the United States, and eventually worked at different construction sites around Detroit, the United States, and eventually in Mexico as well. And then he met my mother agree with me. I still believe the United States is the greatest country in the world. We do so much. When I do swearing in ceremonies for these new immigrants, they come from all over the world. And so many of them had to struggle to get to the United States and then become citizens. Many of them barely speak English, but they work hard. And they become citizens, they come to the United States, not necessarily for themselves, but for their children, to give their children the opportunity they had that they did not have for their home countries. And when I'm swearing them in and discussing it, I know so many of them have left their home, their families, struggled to get to the United States. So many of them, they will never go back. They will never see their families again because of different political, ethnic turmoil in their own home countries. And it causes me to reflect about my mother telling me about her journey to the United States. She grew up in the southwest of Ireland, and she was one of 6 kids. She was the second daughter. And back, it still works that way today, only the oldest son would get the farm. Pretty much everyone else had to fend for themselves. And so when she was 17, she got on a boat, and at the dock, waving goodbye was my grandmother and her younger brothers and her younger 3 sisters. And at that time, when she left with the expectation that she would never return home again, never see her family again. The only way to communicate is in time with ships, not airplanes. And people would just write letters back home, I am, those things that the iPhones where you have FaceTime, none of that. And so when I swear to citizens, I'm probably talking too much. When I swear to citizens, new citizens, I think about my parents and about how they had to leave their families, as you love your families. And their opportunity to go back again now exists. But still, separation is so difficult. So, I applaud you, and it is my honor to be here. Again, to me it's special because of my parents swearing in new citizens. And of course, when Greg, Judge Bill, asked me if I would perform the ceremony, well, we all know you can't say no to Greg to begin with, right? So, but I felt a special obligation to your church. Every St. Patrick's Day, almost every St. Patrick's Day, across in the hall there, I don't know, members of the congregation know it or not, but you have the best St. Patrick's Day party in the metropolitan area. Great Irish bands and wonderful food. So, again, it is my honor. And again, I'm probably speaking too much, so I don't look into the reason why we're here right now and why I'm here right now. And I'm going to give the oath of citizenship to Father Teodor and Roxana. And if they could raise their right hand and repeat after me. I do hereby declare an oath.
I do hereby declare an oath.
That I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States, when required by the law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States, when required by law, that I will perform
civilian direction
when required by the law,
when required by the law,
and that I take this obligation freely
and that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Your children.
I don't usually have Presbytera here when I speak, but this time I will. So please sit. I'm a little bit overwhelmed, so I'm ask you to please bear with me. But I really didn't believe that this was going to happen. It was a dream of mine for a while that the day when I will become an American citizen, it's going to be in church. Really, I dreamt of it. I don't know how it came to me a long time ago, but I dreamt of this day that would happen. Maybe not as extraordinary as it did happen, but I dreamt of it happening in church. And when all the pieces fell in place, when His Honor Sean Cox agreed to be here with us, and then when God also agreed to be with us today, and everybody else, I said this is God's hand. And I wanted to look at it as more than just for me and for Roxana. I think this is really a tribute to all immigrants. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were telling me, you know, Father, this is extraordinary because we did not have the opportunity to witness our parents or grandparents' oath of office. And they were talking about it with so much pride. And they were so happy that they became American citizens. Many times, unfortunately, many times at funerals, I have the opportunity to sit with families and get information about those immigrants, about your parents and grandparents that came here from their motherland with nothing. In terms of material possessions, maybe they came with a couple of suitcases, but what they had was a dream. A dream that they will build something for their children and for their families, and they did. They built homes, they built churches, and ultimately what they built was this country. Because this country was built, of course, by the ones that were here before, but by immigrants mostly. Immigrants who came here and loved America. People who hardly can speak English, but they loved this land. They loved it with all their hearts. Many times they wouldn't even talk that much about their motherland as well as they talked about this country. We tend, and I say this many times, to forget the ones that are now here and in this country. We forget those principles that were put at the foundation of this country by those immigrants. We tend at times to take it as granted. But a lot of work, a lot of sweat, and a lot of blood was put at the very foundation of this blessed land. Me and Roxana are grateful to be here. We are grateful most of all because what this land has given us, and His Eminence pointed that out, was this. Nicole and Irene, who were born here, and we are grateful beyond compare for that. We are grateful for this community, Greek Orthodox community, that adopted us. Adopted us, as His Eminence again mentioned, as if we were from the very beginning part of it. I'm grateful, both me and Roxana, for that, because you, the Greek Orthodox community, and in particular this community of Saints Constantine and Helen, are our extended family. I have a sister here. She's far away in Florida. Our parents are back in the old country. Practically everybody is back there. So when we need someone, we're going to turn to you. You are our extended family. And I'm grateful. We are grateful for that. I want to thank, because of you, this day happened. I want to thank His Eminence for being with us. His Eminence was supposed to be in Ann Arbor today. It was a busy schedule for the name day of the parish, and he told Father Coates there, I have to be with Father Teodor and Presbytera Roxana. Your Eminence, we are grateful. I expressed also to Father Coates our gratitude that he understood this particular circumstance. So we are grateful for you being with us. I'm grateful to Judge Sean Cox, federal judge, who's with us today. I really enjoyed our heartfelt conversation the other day, and I very much enjoyed what you said today, Your Honor. It's wonderful to recognize what the ones that before us did for us. We wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and good health to your mother and to all in your family. I am grateful to Mr. Douglas Pierce, Supervisor to United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, who came today. I don't assume, Doug, that you work on Sundays. Not normal. But you did today, and we are extremely grateful for you coming and being with us today and doing this. Thank you very much. I am very much grateful to the judges from our community, Judge Greg Bill, Judge Jim Plakas, and Judge Eric Cholack. We have one more, but he's in Florida. Chuck Bokas also is from our community, but he's in Florida now and couldn't be with us, but I assume he's here in spirit. Thank you so much for being an important part of this community and being an important part of our beautiful day today. Thank you. Again, to all of you, our extended family.
Father Theodor his certificate of citizenship. And there's one last thing we need to do before we finish our session of court here this morning. If everyone can please face the flag, and we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. And repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America